Hey, how are you? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Clover Street Podcast. Now, I've been working on a theme song for the podcast. Let me try to see if I can set this up here. Hang on. Okay. Nice. This is the theme song to the Clover Street Podcast. Oh, yeah. Take me back, baby. Take me back. Hey, hey, buddy. It's the official mascot of the Clover Street Podcast. That's it. Welcome to the Clover Street Podcast. Man, I am definitely going to shorten that theme song up. This is probably the only time you'll ever hear it in its entirety, but that is programmed here into the keyboard, ready to go for you. It kind of takes me back, it harkens you back to the days of yesteryear when life was just a lot simpler. I was thinking, they were talking, I was listening to the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers podcast, and they were just talking about how we should be grateful for the fact that here in America, here in North America, here in the United States, that we have the privilege to hunt, that we can still hunt. It's not something that's guaranteed as a right of yours across other parts of the world, like in Europe and stuff. America used to be the Wild West, the great frontier, that hadn't been dominated, it hadn't been claimed, in the name of humankind, there was a few savages here, Indians. And I tell you, man, they were living life the right way. They were doing it the right way, and I think we can definitely learn by example. But it just reminded me that we are incredibly fortunate to be able to hunt here and fish and trap for our food, for animals, for products like that we need. I mean, if you don't make a lot of money, if you're extremely poor, I don't make a lot of money. I wouldn't consider myself extremely poor, but, like this is upper class, this is middle class, this is low class, and I'm probably just a little bit under somewhere in between middle and down there. But, you know, honestly, if you don't have a lot of money and you need to go out and hunt for your food, I don't think that should be against the law anywhere, ever. You know, it should be regulated. Wildlife should be managed so you can do that. You know, you don't have a lot of money to buy. And plus, I mean, listen, you might have money to buy some of the processed crap that they sell in stores, you know, the cereal and the ramen noodles and all that stuff that you shouldn't be putting into your body anyway. And then you get into the whole factory farms. If you've ever seen some of the conditions of some of the factory farms where they don't treat the animals nice and they're just crammed in crates and stalls, and you know they're just not treated like animals should be treated. You know, I'm not trying to tell you I don't buy stuff from the grocery store, because I sure do, and I don't buy organic. I think the whole organic movement is just a big scam. Organic just means more expensive to me. I have no problem with GMOs. I have no problem with non-organic food. I like my food to be genetically modified. Have you ever seen corn before humans got a hold of it? Before we started genetically modifying it? Yeah, I don't think you'd want to eat it. Same with watermelon. Same with a lot of the different fruits and vegetables that we do genetically modify, you know. And chickens. What do they have? They haven't been given antibacterial or something. Antibiotics. Our chickens have not been given antibiotics. Well, guess what? I don't want that chicken. I don't want a sick chicken. Just so I can have a label that says no antibiotics. Guess what? If you have a huge barn full of chickens and none of them have been given antibiotics, that's not good. Those are not healthy chickens that you're eating, okay? There's a reason they're given these. So, you know, there's a good side and a bad side to all that stuff. But, like, getting back to what I was originally talking about, you know, going out into the woods and hunting squirrels or hunting turkeys or deer or rabbit or, you know, whatever. Or, you know, fishing for whatever you might eat. Catfish, trout, bass. Some people eat bass. But, you know, it should be your God-given right here in America. And if you live here, if you're like me, you enjoy it. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's in season year-round. Just because deer season's over doesn't mean hunting season's over. Here in Virginia, in my area anyway, we still got squirrel season until February 28th. So we got like almost we have more than a month left of squirrel hunting. Man, I love me some squirrel. Let me tell you, I love me some squirrel. Matter of fact, I'm going to prove to you how much I love squirrel. All right? Now, here's my little buddy here to demonstrate how much we love squirrel. We love squirrel. And here is a classic example of a North American gray squirrel right here. And he is just, he is ready to go, you know. He's a little stiff, but I'm probably going to eat this guy for lunch tomorrow. He's actually good size. He's got a lot of meat on him. And there is nothing wrong with eating these. A lot of people say, ew, that's gross, it's a rodent. Let me tell you something, man. This is good meat right here. You get like half a dozen of these and throw them in your crock pot. Oh man, that meat just falls off the bone. Okay? You pull that meat off the bone, you get yourself a fork, and you just flake that meat out. It looks just like tuna in a can, or chicken. You know, when you buy the cans of chicken, mix a little mayo with it, make you a sandwich, mix some barbecue sauce in it. It's just like pulled pork, it's pulled squirrel. So don't knock the squirrel. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? This little guy here died a very quick and humane death. He got a bullet, 22, right to the heart lung, dead in seconds. Dead in seconds. That does massive tissue damage to a little guy like this. So, yes, we eat squirrel in this house, and I am just looking for more and more different ways to make it. So if you have any recipe ideas or suggestions, send them on. If you want some recipe ideas or how to cook these guys or how to process them, you know, I'll be glad to tell you. We'll do a whole show on squirrels one day, but I just wanted to show you that squirrels are a thing. All right? Oh man, there we got a little bit of Jameson there for drinking later. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. I just think it's, you know, there's just so many people that have a misunderstanding of hunting now. You know, like I've said before, there are a lot of good old boys that don't follow the hunting laws and regulations, that don't get their license. They, you know, it's these morons that are part of the reason that we have to wear blaze orange when gun season comes in. Okay, I don't want to try to talk more highly of bow hunters over gun hunters because they're both just as great, and I consider myself both. I do more bow hunting than anything else, but the reason that we have to wear blaze orange when gun season starts is because morons get out there with their guns, bows too, but definitely way more with the guns, because they have the range capacity. They could shoot something 100, 150 yards away, whereas bow hunting, you know, you're looking at 40, 80 yards max usually. And they shoot anything that moves, so you have to wear the blaze orange. It's crazy. You don't, as an ethical, responsible hunter, you are not supposed to be taking aim at just anything that moves, any spot on it. I saw something move, I think it might have been a deer, let me just aim my weapon at it and shoot. No. First of all, you identify what that animal is. How do you know if this animal's in season right now? It might not be an animal that's in season, you know? You don't just shoot at anything that moves. It just blows my mind. And then, once you identify what kind of animal it is, man, there's a whole bunch of other things you have to consider. You have to consider how that animal's standing. If it's you know, sort of like the traditional, it's sort of like it's got its long body this way and it's facing you or whatever, because you got to get that shot. You got to get that heart-lung shot. If you're just shooting anywhere at the animal, that is irresponsible, unethical, and I don't think you need to take a hunter safety program, okay? And you need to go with somebody that knows how to hunt, that can show you that special spot that you're supposed to aim at. You know, you don't want to hit an animal and hit him in the backbone and paralyze him. You know, he's going to run off. He's so pumped full of adrenaline. If they are physically able to run off, even if they have a double hole through their lung, all the way through their heart, and that arrows come out the other side, they are going to run. And they'll run far, far away. And they might live for a few days if you hit them in the back or if you hit them in the head. You aim for the heart lung, always. If you go to any sporting goods store and you look for those deer decoys that they have up, those 3D targets, they're called, 3D targets. Don't get them, not to be confused with a decoy, because a decoy is what you put out if you want to attract a deer. We have one of those. There it is right there, actually. But you look at where it shows you, it has the target area that you're supposed to shoot over and over and over again, and when you put 1,000 holes in that, you take that section out and you replace it with another heart lung. So they know you're going to shoot at that part of the animal. So that's what you should be doing. You know, get to wear blaze orange because these irresponsible hunters are just shooting at any part on the animal. Oh, I'm gonna make it bleed, man. It's gonna die eventually. Shoot, shoot, man. You don't do that. You don't do that. Oh wait, is she a great big fat woman? I had to do it. I think you're great. I like you, man. I do. But you're crazy. You're crazy. That's from what is that movie? I don't know. It had Will Ferrell and some other guy. So I like to talk about hunting and fishing and trapping. That is my favorite topic. That's probably what primarily that this show is going to be about. I want to be able to pop on here and talk about anything that's on my mind. No subject is taboo. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. If I want to come on here and just rant about Star Wars, or talk about a bad night I had at work, or a pet peeve, or go on a rant, or whatever it may be. But like I said, when I'm in a good mood and I'm on fire and I have a lot on my mind, it's usually I want to talk about hunting, fishing, trapping. Okay? So, yeah. If you're into it, if you want to learn more about it, you know, there's all kinds of great websites. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is a good one. I can recommend a couple of podcasts to you. Cameron Haynes, man, that guy's awesome. Listen to, he actually has not updated his podcast. I don't know, he's so busy. I don't know if he has time to put any of those up. But listen to the ones he's put up, and listen to him on Joe Rogan. If you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience podcast and try to find all the episodes that he's ever done with Cameron Haynes. This guy's amazing. And Steve Rinella, who also has a podcast, the Meat Eater podcast. Listen to this guy. And listen to him. If you don't know who he is, listen to him on the Joe Rogan show first. Because Joe Rogan's sort of like the everyday guy, like me and you. And he introduces these guys in a real cool way, and then you kind of grow attached to them, and then you go and listen to their podcast. So Steve Rinella for the Meat Eater podcast, Cameron Haynes, Keep Hammering, Adam Greentree is another guy. I don't think he has his own podcast, but listen to the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Knock On is another, I think it's called Knock On podcast. Man, if you're into archery, they break every single thing down and they talk about it with you. It's great. I think that's what it's called, Knock On. There's some other good ones that I can't think of right now. But anyway, yeah, I don't have a lot of time. My battery is actually low on my camera, so I kind of have to keep this podcast short. But I just want to pop on here and say hi. How you doing? How's everybody tonight? Go Steelers. Let's see. So yeah, we still have over a month of squirrel hunting to go. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of squirrel hunting. I'm making lots of dishes: hamburger helper, American chop suey, spaghetti and meat sauce. All these recipes, except you substitute the whatever, and you use squirrel. It's great. There's 1,000,001 things. Whatever you can cook with meat or pork or chicken, you can use squirrel as a substitute, okay? You know, I prefer to eat squirrel pretty much well done. I like to thoroughly cook my meat. You don't fool around and do medium rare and all that weird stuff. You do that. I do that with deer, and I would with elk, caribou, all that, gazelle, all that stuff. But when it comes to little animals like rabbit and squirrel, groundhog, raccoon, I cook it thoroughly, man, you know. There are different parasites and bacteria and diseases that animals can carry, but if you examine them thoroughly when you cut them open, if you're looking for certain things and you know, that passes all with flying colors. The only problem could be some microscopic crap that you can't see. Just cook your meat thoroughly, you'll be fine. Alright? So that's what I'm going to do. Alright. So that's it. Don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I'm still working on cleaning all this up, getting it more organized, so you have a little bit more of a pleasant background. It's not so busy and distracting. I want to try to put more hunting and fishing themed stuff behind me. But I got this, fun keyboard here that is sort of a new addition to the Clover Street podcast. And it's a lot of, hey, I'm still working on it. What else can I show off real quick? Of course, there was another thing that I was pretty good at. Oh, Michael Myers. Hold on. There was something else. There was something else that I used. Oh, of course. I do not have the ability to play both parts of that song. Hold on. Part of the show. So that was, again, the Clover Street podcast. We're going to go ahead and close the show now. I'll go ahead and put on our theme one more time. We'll end with the theme, and then that will be the end of the show, okay? And here we go. Here we go. Thank you for watching the Clover Street podcast.